Hello and welcome everyone to the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast. How you doing? Start of February. Why is that extra R there? I don't know. Welcome to the show. I hope you are well, and that rhymes, which means it's gonna be a good one. But before we get into it, I must say a massive big up to Meet the Farmers podcast for supporting the show for the next 3 weeks. We're going to be talking about Meet the Farmers for the next 3 weeks, guys. And what a great podcast it is. Meet the Farmers is about linking farmers with each other and other people in rural areas with anyone who listens. Anyone. If you listen, they'll link it. It is a really good podcast. We do talk about, we've got Ben on the podcast tonight from Meet the Farmers, and it is just, it's like this, just like this, but for farming. So if you really want to know what your farmers go through or their thoughts about their own industry, it's an awesome podcast for that. It comes out every Monday at 9 a.m. and there's some incredible stories on there. Like such great stories, like so many behind the scenes stories. Meet the Farmers podcast. Go give it a listen. If you do anything after this show, go give it a listen. Meet the Farmers podcast. It is awesome. But like I say, I won't go on about it too much now because we've got him on tonight, Mr. Ben Eagle. He tells us everything from why he started the podcast to what the farming industry is actually like, to Paul Kelly making a turkey noise. That's the best one for me. It all makes sense in tonight's show. So shall we hit intro and then I'll do a little bit of chatting after this? Someone press the button. Facilia. Or Pacilia, if you just read it off there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on.
Oh, I can't hear you, on. Done something wrong with the thing. Anyway, Alison Poo is what I got.
Good evening, Lee. How are you?
Great, mate. Your signal is always terrible, but I'm good, my friend. Excuse me. You got an allotment? When I go, don't put artificial grass on top of me, all right?
You're going to get composted, Lee.
Yeah, Oh, welcome to the show, everyone. Like I say, hey, do you know what? Here's to start off with a slight, is it an apology? I don't know. We're very UK centric on this show, right? And over the past week, I've had 2 different people get in contact. One from Australia, lovely Jane from Australia. Hello, Jane, if you're watching / listening. And also, I'm really sorry, I can't remember the other person from the Netherlands. Get in touch. I sometimes forget. I'm doing this show. I'm talking to you lovely people, and I forget that we don't all live in England. Of course we don't. Of course. Hey, forgetting about that apology, right? I apologise. I'll try and. Well, we do get Costa. We've got Costa on from Down Under. G'day. Not heard back from him yet, peeps. All right. I know we had much excitement on the show last week when we got that email from him. Not heard back from him yet. I'm going to give him a chance. There's a pandemic on. He could be busy saving the garden and world, right? Let's give him a chance. He is on tonight, not as in we're watching his show tonight. Talk about, obviously, saving water, peeps, for saving water. So very excited to watch that, or to listen to that, I should say, if you're listening on the podcast. Also, like I say, Ben Eagle from Meet the Farmers podcast. Awesome interview. Just kicked off my week on an absolute high. And then very slowly, work is slowly eating away at me. Hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Because I'm feeling, I'm not sure, man. Not sure. We're getting there, yeah? We're seeing some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. It's a long old tunnel. But we're getting there. What a roller coaster, eh? What a roller coaster. One of the things that has really just, I felt real low in the middle of the week, real low. And just being outside, tidying the shed, and a little potter. Can't tell you how much it helped me. Can't tell you how much. And yeah, it's been one of those weeks. Ended the week sorting the school plan. Hey, I know, all right? The school plan, yeah? Some of you have been asking me about it because we've not really talked about it on the show much. And so I should give you a little bit of update. We're filming in a couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. We're filming. So excited to start filming. Got the team, got the crew back together for filming for the school plan. September is coming out, the start of September. Pre-order is going to go live, proper live. And you will not stop hearing me go on about it. Be like that book, guys. Get up. You can still get the book. Hey, we've got the birthday next week of the book. You will not hear me stop going about it. 22nd of Feb, you'll be able to pre-order. All right? 22nd of Feb. Someone asked me, oh, we don't live in the UK. Can we still do it? And I thought, I don't know. I've not got an answer for that yet. Anyway, so excited about the school plan. School garden success plan. It is coming. It is on its way. And those wheels, when we talked about it way back, when we talked about it, feels like a long time ago, right? September, we started talking about it on the show. We're going to bring it up. I'll bring it up in next week's show. A little bit more detail on that. Absolutely pumped for it, though. So excited. So excited. But thank you to everyone that's with your interest and getting in contact about that. I really appreciate your support. It means so much to me. What have we got coming up in tonight's show? We've got, like I say, Ben Eagle. We've got a bit of Costa. We talk a little bit about how to save water. Plus, just a little bit of homeschooling too. If you fancy gardening homeschool, of course, we're not doing that maths rubbish. We some gardening homeschool, which is very exciting. So, hey, welcome to the show, and let's get into it. January seems to have just flown by, right? Our supporter of the podcast in February for the next 3 weeks is Meet the Farmers podcast. If you've not given it a listen yet, then Mark said Jane has impeccable taste. If you've not listened to it yet, I've been giving it a good old listen over the weekend. It's an absolute corker. And tonight, not one night only, I'm sure you'll pop back later on in the month, but for tonight at least, we've got Ben Eagle.
Hello, Lee.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm going to be so out podcasted by you tonight because I've been listening to you, right?
Never.
You have
it's not possible.
You have such the most beautiful voice for podcast and radio.
It's all to do with the mic, Lee. It's all to do with the mic, I'm sure.
I don't know how you do it, man. How are you doing, dude?
I'm good. It's been a bit of a weird day, hasn't it? So, I mean, weather-wise, it's been a bit a bit dull, but it's February. So January's over. We're into February. We're into a new month. Also, I can't believe you got me on as the first guest of the year for your show. What an honor.
It can only go up from here, right?
Absolutely. Big time.
Oh,
Set the bar low.
January went so fast, man. Like, I can't even believe. I mean, I think everyone went into Jan thinking that it was going to be a bit different than it was. So we never really got anyone on. We just sort of grooved our way through it.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to see last month, to be honest. It's sort of how I was seeing my show as well last month. Sort of let's just ease into the year, ease in, and then we'll get But it's gonna be a good month.
Dude, you've gone. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you throughout this tonight as well. By the way, so I'm dreadful at interrupting people. Dude, the reason we've got you on tonight is one, because you're supporting the podcast, which big up here for the next.
Absolutely. Well,
also, you're local
pleasure.
to me, right? No, that's not the only reason that I like you, but you're local to me, yeah.
I am local. I'm out at Walton on the Naze, Frinton on Sea, Clacton, that sort of way. So just bang out on the coast, just across from you. Yeah,
I mean, to our Australian listeners, that means nothing, but to anyone,
nothing at all.
it's a lovely place to live, mate. And also, so Meet the Farmers. How long has it been going on for?
About 4 years. So it started like all good things do, or as a conversation in the pub. I was living in Bristol at the time, and was in the pub with a load of mates and some other randos, which is what you always get in Bristol, which is partly why I love Bristol. Big up any listeners tonight who are from that part of the world. Love it. And for some reason, I don't know why, but conversation just turned towards farming. I'm from a farming background. So even though I decided not to go into farming straight away in my life, I grew up on a dairy farm, which we're not now. And that's what we asked. It was like, oh, Ben, you're from a farming background. And everyone was really interested. And it was like, why? Why is this? And I think, as podcasts. So this is back in this was 2016, mid 2016. I was just about starting to get into podcasts back then, and had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But went out onto a friend's farm for the first one. It was my first one. It was let's just not go there. It took a few just to get into it. But and then it was just became a little bit of an obsession, really. And I've just traveled about the place, went and visited loads of different farmers, but it was all about just getting those stories out there, which in farming we've been pretty crap at, to be honest, for ages. But there are some amazing people out there in the countryside, and it's just about telling their stories and meeting them, and it's just genius. I really, really love it.
It's I've listened to quite a few more episodes in the last few weeks, and there is such a it's sort of like, obviously I'm in gardening, you're in farming, and I'll try and look exactly the same for you. There's so many stories that no one really hears about, and sometimes we go around and garden and go, oh, we're so underrepresented in this gardening world. I'm guessing you feel the same, right?
Big time. No, absolutely. I think it's and that's why I absolutely love the podcasting world as well. It just gives whoever you are, you can have a voice, and it's so great to be able to just think, right, who are we gonna speak to today, or who are we gonna get on soon, and you can just find, for me, it's the little stories which are the best ones.
Yeah, definitely. What sort of reaction when you ask someone, can I come and record a podcast with you? What sort of reaction do you usually get?
You know what? When I started this thing, I thought everyone was just going to say, "Who is this guy? What the hell are you doing?" But other than one, I think I've had one rejection in 4 years. Everyone has just been so come on, show me exactly what you want to show me everything. They're all, it's an open book, and they just love just showing off what they do, because if there's one thing that I've found, definitely farmers are obsessed and absolutely love just showing what they do, because they do it like 24/7 pretty much. This is their lives. This is pretty much all they do most of the time. It's just really nice just to be able to show the world the rest of that.
Just proper proud about it.
Yeah, big time.
G'day there, mate. That's right, it's that time again. It's time for Costa Bingo. G'day.
We're going to learn everything you need to know about worm juice. Here's cheers. Cheers.
Oh no, Costa. Surely not. He's not going to do that, is he? Oh, that's fine. We'll find out later. Please say you didn't, Costa. Please.
I'm not talking about apple juice or orange juice.
I'm not talking about apple juice or orange juice or blackcurrant juice. I'm talking about
or any other juice.
Any other juice. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about
as you can think of. I'm talking about the good oil, worm juice.
Beans on toast, chicken and rice, peas
What's going on? I love this.
and broccoli, cabbage and spuds, wholemeal bread. I like to feel good.
Now, when you set this up, what do you put in the bottom?
We've used straw.
Yep.
Put the straw in a couple of inches, a bit of compost, throw the worms in, and then just keep feeding them fruit and vegetables on a regular basis.
Beautiful.
One of the best ways to break down organic matter is to use composting worms to convert food scraps into nutrient-rich worm castings.
That is a lot of worms, isn't it? Worm Watch, guys. We're going to go well over time tonight, so just stick around. Worm Watch team. I don't know what's happened to my worms. They are the laziest worms ever. Remember them worms I bought for 12 quid last year on the show? Laziest worms ever. Still not even eating their Christmas dinner. Jokers. Absolute jokers. Anyway, they make some good worm juice, but I've got nothing to put it on at the moment.
Commonly known as worm poo.
Okay, you've got these bags on the top. Is that to keep sunlight out?
It's to keep sunlight out, to stop the birds coming in for a meal, and it also helps to keep them cool, particularly in the hot weather.
So you keep these bags moist.
Yes.
Nice. Are all them yellow boxes all full of worms? This is on another scale, mate.
3 months and 1 million poos later, we're at the final stage of the process.
The worms have done their job, and what we've got is just this rich.
Do worms like cocktail sausages? I don't think you should put cocktail sausages to feed worms. That's Bedo's best comment of the week. Oh, you make me laugh, Bedo's.
Castings, and it's filled with worms. As I put them into the sieve, have a look at that. There's just worms everywhere.
Now we've got to take it over and we harvest it with the sieve, because we need to keep our worms to go back into the boxes to start again.
My most favourite thing I did in 2020, sieve soil. My new favourite thing.
As Joy pans away with her tray, underneath is falling through these worm castings. This worm poo is gold. It is potent. Now, around your tree at home, you only need a little palmful like that, and the tree will jump out of the ground. Equally, a small amount around your vegetable garden, and you'll have vegetables growing like you wouldn't believe. So this is what I've been waiting for, worm juice. And there you have it. Talk to me about this liquid gold.
This is worm pea,
Okay.
which all these boxes have got drain holes in them, and it goes down into the gutter. And this is just pure compost, and we dilute that down
About how much?
approximately 10 parts to 1, and just pour it straight onto your garden.
You know, we all know what's going to happen, and I think Costa knows what's going to happen too. But why are you doing this, Costa? Why?
Around your plants,
He's going to drink it. We know it. He's going to drink it.
obviously, and that's all you need to do. Stand back and watch it all grow. So it's pure gold.
Here's cheers.
Cheers. You can actually.
Did he actually drink it? Hang on.
You can actually drink it because worms have no known diseases. So it's pure
Go on, Costa.
gold.
Even better. I'll go again.
Cheers.
Thanks, Joy.
He failed, didn't it? He failed. Oh, the beard hit it. He never drank it. Oh, Costa.
Later in the show.
Love worm juice though. Really great. Advertly here, saying hello. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying the show. Now, you know when you're walking down the street, and you say, "Cool, mate, you're looking pretty cool. You must be wearing a t-shirt." Yeah, probably one of these. And you go, "Good t-shirt, mate. Good t-shirt." Well, tonight I'm asking you to support the show by going, "Good show, mate. Good. Well, if you listen to the podcast, obviously you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing a thumbs up. Good show, mate. Good show. And you can do it too right here by giving the video a good old thumbs up, a good old share to your mum, to your nan, whoever is your friends on Facebook or in YouTube or whatever, and go and subscribe. That's what you can do. If you're listening on the podcast, you can share the audio. But just share the show. It supports Lee more than anything. Thumbs up. You said that your family's obviously in farming, right?
Yep. So yeah, dad was the last of the dairy farmers. Dare I say it? The cows went when I was about 12, 13, I think, in the late 90s. Yeah, and then so we're now sort of skipping ahead. So the farm is still in the family. We're an arable farm, but we grow some weird and wonderful stuff as well. Well, including one crop called sea buckthorn, which I'll give a shout out to because no one will have heard about that, or you never know. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, on your show, people are more likely to know about sea buckthorn than other people because, yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested actually. Yeah, if anyone has heard of sea buckthorn, please let Lee know because it'd just be great.
What do you use sea buckthorn for?
So it grows wild on the coast, up and down. It's a bright orange berry.
Yeah.
It's a shrub which grows up to sort of 2 meters or so. We harvest it for its berries, it's a health product. So it's got 190 different bionutrients within it. It's after rose hips, I think, has the second highest concentration of vitamin C of any berry. It's just a really, really interesting thing. It's they grow more sea buckthorn in China than we grow wheat in this country, which sort of puts it into perspective. Yeah, and yet no one's heard of it here.
Perfect, mate. So that's what you grow now. So when you were younger, how come you didn't get into farming straight away?
I think it was because it's a story that I see again and again and again. Is that in farming, you will hit these times which are so hard, and you end up losing. You lose a lot of money. It's the stress is massive, and I think I grew up seeing that a lot when I was growing up, and also there was there was a good chance that the farm wasn't going to be here, so I sort of thought, well, I'm going to go out and try other things, which I love doing anyway, and then ended up going into conservation, worked with the Wildlife Trust for a bit, worked with the National Trust a bit, did a bit of this, did a bit of that. I love traveling about, moved down to the West Country, lived in Norfolk for a bit, but then I ended up I worked on a few farms for just at the time of my life when I was just working random jobs. So I went up to Scotland for a bit. I worked on a goat dairy farm in Somerset for a bit. That was random. I worked on an apple place in Herefordshire. So I got the bug. I just got the bug big time, and just meeting loads of people, and I just loved it and thought, okay, well, maybe it's worth giving this a shot, and then ended up coming back to Essex in the end, and have sort of carved out a new sort of business line here. So it's still early days, but it's a crazy life. It is a crazy life, but it's partly what the podcast is about. Is about shouting about something that is, because if there's one thing I actually love, it's just I love just talking to people, whoever you are, wherever you're from. I'm really interested in people's backgrounds, people's interests. Why is it they're really interested in something? Why is it that everyone on this show, for example, is interested in what they're interested in? So it's but telling those farming stories it's just great. I love it.
Everyone's got a story, man, isn't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
What I found, I don't know if you found this as well, is everyone's got a story, but no one really goes into massive depth unless now all of a sudden you've got a podcast, and then people are like, yeah, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite person you've ever interviewed out of over 4 years? Is there someone that stands out the most?
Oh, that's a big one. That is a good one, and I probably should know. Yeah, I should probably know. But I think I'm gonna. The cop out question is that everyone is brilliant for their own reason. But I did. There was this lady she was up near Lowestoft. She has, I think, like half a dozen cows. And I turned up for morning milking, really sort of crack of dawn. Just went into the yard. There was no one around, which is, to be honest, that's the case mostly. And then this woman was just walking through the yard, and she just hit my car on the bonnet. Said, okay, right, time to come out. Didn't say a thing, just said, follow me. Went straight down to the barn. And I think I asked her one question, something like, how long have you been here? Or how did you come here? And she just went on one for 45 minutes and played record. And I honestly couldn't get a question in one way or another. It was quite an early one, but she was but her story was just she worked in catering. She was homeless for I think 2 or 3 years. Just absolutely amazing story, and such a great attitude to life. Just a great way of seeing the world. And yeah, I think I take a little bit out of everyone, but I also find it doesn't, and I'm sure you probably find this with speaking to people as well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. There are certain things that are just we're all similar in. And when you get someone to talk about their story, their interests, where they come from, and you get that little light up in their eyes, that's just what makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, that's that passion starts to flow out, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah,
passion in the stories, man. So over 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
How many podcasts have you done over 4 years? Like last year you went weekly, right?
Yeah, so that's been the big difference, and it's why. Yeah, I mean, I've sort of followed a bit of your journey through over time as well.
Don't go back too much.
we also share the same guy wrote our jingles.
What are the chances of this?
I know, Ben.
I'm not now.
So Ben's the drum, or was the drummer in my brother's band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The chances, man.
Yeah. So that's sort of how, and that's actually I think how I first got to know you and your podcast through Ben. That must have been it. But anyway, I can't remember what the question was. What were we talking about? We were talking about number of episodes. That was it.
Boom.
Yeah, boom, we're there. So yeah, it only went weekly from last year, and that was mainly because the format of like the first 55, 60 odd episodes, I suppose, they're all on location, recorded on location. And it was a bit mad because, like, podcasting it takes up a lot of time, and also when you're traveling around, it costs a fair bit as well. And I was just doing it really, it's just done on the side. And it just got a bit extreme. So I was driving up to like North Yorkshire and back on for the day, when I could just grab a bit of time, and I've got some time off, so I'll go and do that. Yeah. But when lockdown happened, and I'd sort of been thinking about doing them more remotely anyway. Mm-hmm. But when lockdown happened, obviously it forced us all brand new situation. So I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna be disciplined about this. Actually, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna go weekly. And yeah, so it's now at 9 o'clock on Monday mornings, and it took a bit of time, but I'm now sort of in the flow. So we're now at about, I think Monday's episode will be next Monday's will be episode 106. Wow. Yeah, so it was about 50 to 60 odd episodes in the first 3.5 years, and then another 50 or so since then.
How have you found not actually physically seeing people? I've changed this podcast around quite a bit in the last year because of obviously what's been going on.
Yeah.
How have you found that? Because it's not, I don't know about you, but it's not quite the same experience.
It's not, is it? No. And to be honest, it's been going on so long now. I've almost forgotten. I'm doing I'm starting to make a music podcast as well, and I'm doing the first episode on Wednesday with my brother, mostly because I can then do it face to face because he's in my bubble. So and I'm not sure how I feel about doing one face to face again. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good experience, but I don't know. Part of it, I mean, part of it is it's everyone knows how to use Zoom or Teams or whatever you're using now, or so that's sort of easier. But at the same time, you don't get when you're face to face. You can have a bit more banter. You could have a bit more pre-chat, and you get, and also it's all those other things, especially when you're going out into a farm. Dare I say, it's those other sounds you can get. It's the smells. It's the whole feel to the place. And I think when you speak to people on their own home turf as well, they're different as well. So that's a slight. I think we're different. We're different when we're speaking on screen to perhaps how we are if you're face to face with someone. You can't have a tea or well, you can have a tea or coffee, but you can't have their tea or coffee. I once went to a farmer in Norfolk who had trained as a barista. It was amazing, and so it's like, the best coffee ever. Just thank you very much. But I definitely miss the face-to-face stuff. But I think when it all starts again, I think I don't know about you, and I was going to ask you this actually, but whether, because I think I'm going to do more of a mix. So I think I will do the virtual ones as like probably a standard, but then I want to go on when I do the on location ones. I'll do a bit of a road trip. And then sort of then record quite a few at once and then play them back. But what about you? How's it been for you?
It's been different, man. Like, I do enjoy seeing people and meeting them at shows and doing interviews face to face. I've also enjoyed this. Like, I enjoy doing this sort of thing and chatting to different people and getting different people's voices on. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult. I think, to be honest with you, and this is what I wanted to do with the podcast lockdown. We might have to pre-COVID. You might have to wait a few more years for it, but I'd really love to take this sort of thing on stage and do it in front of an audience. So that's the future of it. The best part of it is like the one thing that usually when I'm seeing people at shows, it's great, but you're sort of rushing an interview because then they're off to go and do something else. You sort of get people's concentration a little bit more when you're like this. It's tough. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. Because your live,
I don't know. It's different. I'm not going to usually.
Yeah, your old live show in Colchester was so good. I didn't actually get to come in the end, but I think it did stop by the time I was like, I really want to go. But is that going to come back?
Oh man, do you know what? I forgot about it actually until someone sent me something the other day. It must have been this time. I don't know, 3 years ago maybe. I'd love to. I'd love to. Back. It was wicked. Cost a fortune to put on. That's the only thing. So I don't know.
I can imagine. Yeah,
it was fun, but we'll see what happens. But there we go. I don't know. Oh, there's a phone call already. Hang on. Wait, hang on. Hold your horses. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. I'm going to call you Subget then. Sorry, Tommy.
I can't. We've never had a phone call this quick on a Thursday.
Well, I'm after advice. That's what I'm after.
Oh, you were the wrong so sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. Absolutely great. I've had a cracking week so far.
Oh, good, man. Nice one.
Yeah, 3 classes this week instead of 2, so extra gardening got done, so it's great.
Oh, you're almost back into the groove, aren't you?
Yeah. Apart from tomorrow, we got a big inspection tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's the inspection that we've been.
Yeah, it's called Challenge Partners. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be grilled for 20 minutes. So I've rung up for advice from out there. From one thing that as a parent or a gardener that you would want your children to learn at school.
One thing. Well, you think I feel like you already know what I'm going to say.
No, not really. Apart from your book, obviously.
No, no. But what thing would I want my daughter to learn at school?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd want her to come away from primary school learning that how to grow some veg. I want her to know how to grow that because there's something I never learned at school.
Right. How would you sell that then to the inspector?
So
Get it put as part of every school life.
I'd say if we want children to eat healthy and be healthy, then we need them to grow healthy.
Oh, mate.
Huh? That's come off straight off the top of my head. You can have that. That's for free.
Thanks for that. I'll send you a check later.
It's true though, right? Like you're always in the not as there is gardening stuff in the papers. Don't get me wrong, but you know, Jamie and Joe are doing. Joe's doing the exercise. Jamie's always saying, "Come on, be healthy" and stuff. But we don't think about if children really knew where their food comes from. Really, not even knew where it comes from. We know it comes from a field. Great, okay, cool. But actually knew how that plant grew. One, they'd be more likely to eat it. I've always said that. And two, they're gonna grow up healthy, right? Because they're gonna be growing their stuff and they're gonna be eating what they're growing.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. You know, my job tomorrow is to sell, basically, to sell what we do.
Yeah.
To them 4 inspectors. 4 inspectors come from 4 different schools.
Right.
So I've got to sell what I do to them, so they go back and do the same.
It's such a shame the kids aren't really in it because I'd just say, chat to these lot.
That's it. If I could have done a 5-minute video with the kids, I'd sold it easily.
That's it. It would have.
You know, we'd be on. What day were we? Thursday. Yesterday, they built a no dig bed from scratch.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah. I'm trying to show them the difference between, you know, conventional digging your garden for your veg and then a no dig veg garden. So, and we're also going to do a peat-free compost and peaty compost on a tomato challenge to see. This is why we should just use, you know, peat-free compost because it's no different to what you buy normally.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's also really important.
So that's my challenge at the moment is to get this no dig off the ground.
Yep.
So it's not just for me because my back's dodgy.
Yeah.
But like for classes R1 and 2, it can't pick up a big spade or a fork and dig the ground over.
No.
They can still garden.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. And also, right, you know about the peat-free thing, yeah? Because obviously, you know, I've been doing this school plan thing.
Yeah.
And I've been banging to this peat-free lesson that I've been doing. So important to teach kids that because I don't feel like, I mean, Olive would never know what peat even is, do you know what I mean? Or peat bogs or anything like that. And what the damage we do to our environment from having to dig that up. And, you know, we want children care about the planet, right? And they care about the all the animals. Everyone talks about the whales and everything in the sea and the plastic that goes into that, right? But we're not even thinking about our own islands.
That's right. I don't know if it was there. It must have been there when you come in March. But we got a big pile of chippings that we did last year's, not this year's, last year's Christmas trees.
Yeah. So
that is then going on the no dig bed. So it's like I'm doing the whole thing with them, the whole recycle everything. And they said, "Oh, well, it won't be any good. It's not proper compost." I said, "It will be in time."
Yeah, that's it. It just takes
you
time.
Know,
And it's so great for them to learn that from such a young age. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, like big up to my mum and dad. Like I love them, right? But they never obviously taught. They're not really gardeners. My dad gardens, sure. He didn't really grow plants, and so I almost feel like I'm in a missed generation. Yeah. So if so obviously I've not learned about gardening. So there's been a lot of 30-somethings not teaching their children about gardening as much. But so we have to look at the children because they're going to be. Talk about my daughter Olive. I want her to teach her kids about gardening, and it goes back on down there. So I sort of think we need to push that. You know, that's going to save the planet.
And I think the way I'm not trying to blow your own trumpet, but the way you do it is great because you're not forcing it.
Yeah.
You're making it fun, so they're not even realising they're learning anyway.
Yeah.
You know, in 15 years' time or 20 years' time, when she looks back, she'll remember how you sowed that carrot or tomato or whatever.
Yeah.
But she knows she's done it, but at the moment she doesn't realise she's learning.
That's it.
So it's-
And we've talked before,
Yeah.
Stu, haven't we, about what you do with the kids at your school. Just give them the seeds
Yeah.
and let them get on with it. And
Yeah.
if they grow, then they grow. If they don't, if they've sown them wrong or it's a long time of year, then they're going to learn from that. I think that's. I remember you saying that once on the show, and I thought it was such.
Yeah. Well, we got
such a good comment.
pumpkins. Pumpkins was planted last Thursday. Just to tell you how hot it is in our classroom, they're already 2 inches high.
Oh no way!
Yeah, but I haven't got the heart to tell the children, because they've asked me to put them in the polytunnel,
Yeah,
that they will die.
it's a long old slog until October. mate.
Because there's going to be a shock. Because going from like 26 degrees to 2.
Well, that is all. That, I mean, that is a really good point. That's one thing that we do forget is the. I mean, it's like us. Imagine it, right? This is a good way of explaining it. Is if we're inside
Yeah.
the house. I mean, my house is boiling at the moment. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. I wouldn't pop
Yeah.
outside in a t-shirt, and it's a bit like a plant, isn't it? It's like if
Yeah.
you're sitting in a t-shirt inside. It's going to want to be a bit warmer. And it's been outside for a long time.
Yeah, it's been fun the last couple of weeks because I'm having 10 at the most 10 children at a time, and there's 2 of us, so it's just lush to get jobs done, you know. But so if anybody's out there who's got quotes for me to get over tomorrow,
Yeah.
I've got 20 minutes to sell what you and me do to everybody else.
Mate, you'll do it. Like your passion is so strong. Like.
Mm.
Also, I think
Yeah,
those. Also, do you know what I think with them sort of things is? Don't overthink it.
No, I've known for like probably a month that my time's changed 3 times, and tomorrow morning, and I'm booked in at 9:40. I know it's not going to be till 10 o'clock because everything runs late.
Yeah.
So I will be nervous, but once I get going, I'll be fine.
Mate, just rock in. Like this is one of the things that I've learned, right? So sometimes there's say I'll do an interview and I'll get really nervous about doing it, and the ones that I do too much prep for, I always muck up.
Yeah.
The ones that I don't do much for is fine because my passion and the questions and everything comes out then. It's a bit like you. Oh, you'll be fine, man. I think good luck to you. Let us know how you get on, yeah?
I will. I'll let you know how we get on, but of course we won't know I won't know because only you work till lunch. So.
Yeah. Well, I just want to know how you felt you went.
Yeah. I'm sure we do fine. I'm sure the actual school will do fine, but I'll let you know how I feel. Well, I'll speak to you next week anyway, but I'll let you know.
Passion, mate. It will come out, mate. Don't worry.
If you see, big things on social media that I'm drinking heavily, it went pesh.
Okay. Well, good luck, sir. We look forward to hearing how you got on next week.
Okay, mate.
Bye, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I love Stu. Oh, good luck to him for that. He did mention that last week, didn't he? Well, hang on a minute. We didn't finish that song, did we? Cheers by the way, Suggs. Where's the music coming? Right, yeah. So anyway, before I was rudely interrupted. Ideas. Costa's got to stop that water.
So today, an Arabic-speaking water auditor from the Greentown project is going to help us realise some water efficiencies around Norma's home.
especially بس يفوتوا الولاد.
Interestingly, Norma Gantus knows a thing or two about water conservation. You see, she moved here in 1989 from Lebanon, where water was in very short
We
supply.
used to have this problem in Lebanon, we used to have only around 3 hours the water on, to use it, and after they used to cut it. So I think in here, sometimes I use the same way I used to do it there.
Despite her best water conservation efforts,
I mean, not knocking it. I can't even imagine that. It's crazy. We're so overprivileged here. But if she says she does it the same, why is she?
Norma realises the
Nothing.
obvious benefits of reducing their usage further.
It's good for their future and for everybody, I think. So if we save water and we save money too, so we'll be very happy.
Save the water and save some money. Save the water, save some money.
We spend the money on something else.
Like bottles of water, I can buy bottles of water with the money I save from saving the water.
And the great news for not only the Gantus family, but for all of us, is that it is possible to save 25% of your current water usage just by following a few simple steps.
If he says, oh, this second, imagine if he did. If he says, put a brick in the toilet in Zalafame, Beddoes, I'll give you 50 quid. All right? Said it. I've said it now. Oh my God, that's a hell of a pet. I've said it now. If he says, Zalafame a brick and put it in the toilet, £50 coming your way.
Amazingly, 31% of all water used in the household is actually used right here in the shower.
Norma's old shower head was churning out about 15 litres a minute. Now this one's only putting out about 9 litres a minute.
On top of having a water-efficient shower head, if the Gantuses shave 2 minutes off their shower time, then they will save 40,000 litres a year.
Yeah, but there's nothing more. I love a good old shower. I love a bath better. There's nothing that ruins a good old shower than having a timer sitting next to you, Costa.
That equates to over $100.
I'm in.
When it comes to brushing their teeth, like my brothers, sometimes they'll like forget to turn the tap off, and we would have to just walk in and, you know, tell them you didn't turn the tap off.
At the moment, this tap is throwing out about 10 to 12 litres a minute. If we change
I sellotape the end up, it won't.
the aerator that I've got here, so it's a simple task. All we do is unscrew this old aerator, get the new one, screw it in there, turn it on. No matter how hard we turn it on, full bore, that's only going to pour out a maximum of 5 litres a minute. So it's almost half the amount of water out of this one tap alone.
By doing this, the Gantuses will save over 20,000 litres a year and at least $50 to boot.
I'm in.
Did you know that a leaking system can waste?
Oh, no. Oh, no. He's got the back of the toilet off. If he's got a brick next to his knee down by his, and he puts it in the bag, I'm going to owe Beddoes 50 quid. I could have made a big mistake here. Sugg says, I much prefer a bath. Also, it's easy to reuse the water from the bath in the garden than it is from the shower. Hey, right. This is a good point, right? You can use grey water, yeah? In the it's called grey water, isn't it? In the garden. Has anyone ever this is a big thing, right? But I think I'd like to do this. Has anyone thought about rerouting that bath water outside into like a tank or something? That would make sense, yeah? Because it just goes down, it's just wasted. If they are new houses, right, they should put this is a good right, tell me if this is not a good idea. But surely on new houses, why don't they put the waste of the bath? Listen up, property developers. Why don't you put the waste of the bath, yeah, go down the side of the house, under the ground a little bit, and go out into the lawn. And then when I have a shower, might be quite a run, but it might not be. When I have a shower or a bath, nice long bath, it will just go into the lawn, and then I won't have. Then I'll always have a nice lawn over. This is a good idea, isn't it? God, this must have been written by J.K. Rowling, mustn't it? Oh no, boy Lee, the Skinny Jean Gardener, How to Get Kids Gardening book. I tell you what, it's an absolute awesome read, and you should get your hands on it. It's on offer right now. Go click the link. You know. Go click the link in the comments or in the description. You get your hands on it. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, that Sam from Sam and Mark says, oh, Lee's passion for gardening is infectious. Probably shouldn't say that word at the moment. It's not the best. In fact, you don't want to be saying you're infectious. Because it's, yeah, probably wear a mask around it. But it's that good. It's infectious. Go get your hands on one right now. Right now. We're at the end of the minute. Right now. Oh my gosh. I actually got really shocked there. We never get a phone call on a Wednesday.
Well, you're talking about one of my favourite subjects.
Well, well, yeah, that's true. Actually, right? This is something we've never talked about, me and you.
Yeah,
but this is an idea, isn't it?
I think it is an idea, and I do think it should be done. I would I do know there's people out there that have made some sort of valve, so when they pull the plug from the bath, they can pull this valve at the same time that it fills up a tank, which they then go. But of course, it also has the option to close the valve if you don't want anything to be used in the garden. So let's say you're doing something particularly nasty in the bath water.
Hold on. You can't say a comment like that. What do you mean?
Using chemicals or something.
What sort of chemicals do you wash yourself in?
You may not be washing yourself. You might be, I don't know, sticking caustic soda down the trap to clear out the drain, or drain cleaner that you don't want going into your grass.
Good point. I didn't think about that.
That's why I'm here.
So a valve. Okay, you have a valve for those certain times.
Yeah. So you can bypass it. I wouldn't recommend storing bath water because I'm led to believe it can smell. I mean, especially if it's got your skin fat and stuff.
Well, no, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying store it. I'm saying go straight out, mainly for the lawn.
Yeah,
because you can imagine, like in the summer, you'd probably the lawn. If we could spread it across the garden a bit, keep it quite well watered. I love a bath, mate.
Oh yeah, me too. And yeah, I think it'll be better to use on the lawn or ornamentals. I wouldn't use it on the vegetable patch personally.
No,
I know people in the past used to when water was very expensive, but I also think. I mean, this is the way I look at it. I have lots of rainwater butts, as you know, hence I'm the butt king.
Sure.
And I want to save that water for my veg patch.
Yeah.
So if I can use my bath water on the lawn or on the ornamentals, it's going to make my rainwater last that little bit longer.
There's something about using it on ornamentals. You can't use it all the time on them because of the soap, which could do something to your plants.
It depends on what soap you're using. Now, if you're using a natural soap, or you might be okay. But I think that's a valid point. But I certainly don't see a problem on the lawn.
Is the Lynx Africa shower gel? Is that something that can be?
I very much doubt it.
We'll get him on the phone next week and ask him.
Give it a try.
That could be. Well, imagine an experiment like. Actually, should we do an experiment? I might do an experiment like that this year and see. Same plant, bath water. What happens?
Yeah. Go for it.
Stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that's always annoyed me, and I think modern house builders should be thinking more about this, is why on earth do we have this rainwater that comes down our rooftops and it goes straight down the drain, not used, yet we pump perfectly good, fresh drinking water to our houses and then we flush the toilet with it.
Yeah, we know last week Costa put that wicked massive tank on the side of that house.
Yes, I've been looking at those since.
Are they a lot of money?
About £900 I found them for.
maybe that's not. I mean, considering how many water butts you've got, probably if you add up the cost of all them water butts, if you got them all new, I know you didn't, but
No.
yeah. I think they should be. I think them sort of things should be like standard in at least a water butt. At least a water butt should be standard.
Well, there's a company near me actually. I really want to get them to come to our house and do something.
Yeah.
And they can put like an underground water butt under that catches the rain off our roof, and then repipe it to our toilet and our washing machine.
Got ya.
And it filters water as it comes out, so you're not getting any of the dirt or anything at the same time. So, I mean, obviously, it's no good for drinking, but I'm not going to be using it for drinking. It's flushing the toilet and washing my clothes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think I don't know why we're in 2021 and houses are still being built as if we're not thinking about it.
Money. It's always down to the money, isn't it? The big water companies are probably not pushing it because they can make more money selling us water, and the house builders, that will cost them more to put in.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame, really, isn't it?
It is. But it's the same. I think every house built should have solar panels on the roof or some sort of way that it's produced electricity. It's not going to happen all the time it's run like this.
No, it's costing it. When you think about how much new houses cost as well, you'd think it'd be kitted up with all this sort of stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how I'd do it yet. I do it. It's actually not that difficult. Well, no, it is a bit difficult, I suppose. I don't know. I'd like to do how to use the bath water in a better way than it's used currently.
Yeah, I mean, what I would think is that you have like this valve, like I said earlier, that you have to dig up your lawn.
Yeah.
You run pipes underneath the lawn that come off from this valve that act as like a seeper hose and just seep water into there.
Almost, you'd have to do it almost like, like underfloor heating.
Yeah.
You could almost do it like that. I don't know if the pressure would be, you might have to get, I don't know.
No.
But anyway, just getting it out, I'll just have a pipe just running it. Just one area would be really green, the rest would be yellow.
Yeah.
Be something.
Yeah. It's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're right. Storing it is a no-go.
Yeah. I mean, the easiest way, I still think, is to get lots and lots of water butts and store as much rainwater as possible.
Yeah, rainwater, man. Like, rainwater is definitely something that we, like I say, I want to get some more water butts now. I'm going to try and, how many have you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I think 18. 18, I think.
I won't be able to beat that. I take up most of my garden. I don't know where you hide them all, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, that's a game we have to play next time you're down.
Yeah, I will do. Dude, thanks for calling in.
No worries. Have a good one.
Much love, man. You can call in too, guys, if you've got any thoughts tonight. I love. This is something that each year I try. And last year I had a water butt that I'd had for literally 4 years. Sat unplugged. And since I plugged it in, I've never looked back. Never looked back. Painted it black as well, so when it gets sunny, try and heat that water up. Didn't quite work, but sort of blended in. Do you find farmer wise, so this is something like I said earlier, like gardeners always seem a little bit underrepresented, maybe not, that's actually not true, misinterpreted, because we are very much Monty Don, like, is the head of the garden media, and everyone thinks that every gardener must be like him, which is definitely not the case. Do you do the same sort of thing in farming?
Big time. Variety is the spice of life, and it's not always shown, I think. And definitely, it's in farming. I think you can definitely be tarred with the same brush, and there's always this get off my land sort of mentality. You're probably you're going to be clinically obese, and just sort of, I don't know, just there's so many stereotypes out there of who a farmer is. Actually, if you talk to different people, the stereotypes will be different. But yeah, but it's all about, I think it's all about, and it goes for anything, it's about getting different voices out there and showing that diversity, which also means showing the people that you normally hear anyway as well. But it's about showing that it's all diverse, and there's loads of people from loads of different backgrounds.
There's also so many, especially, I mean, there is in both of our sectors of what we talk about, but there's so many different avenues you can go down in farming, which, to be honest with you, until I listened to your podcast, I didn't really realise how many different types of farms there are.
Yeah, it's insane. Honestly, if you can think of if you think of a food, then there will be someone growing it. And we saw when you think of farming, you think of wheat, barley, rape, maybe, and then you think of pigs, chickens, beef, and lamb. But that's only a few of the things. There are there are people in the Cambridgeshire Fens, for example, who just grow the most amazing diverse mix of vegetables. And at the same time, there's inner city farms. There's city farms which have loads and loads of different stuff and get loads of people involved. A really early episode I did when I was living in Bristol was of one of the city farms there. There are care farms. There are people who help people with learning disabilities. There are tiny little dairy farms. There are massive 2,000 cow dairy farms. And also, it's really one thing I find really interesting, which I'm starting to do more of as well, is once you go out of the UK as well, which is just it's amazing. You get even more diversity. So it's fascinating, man. It really is.
It's one of the questions that I sort of what I was going to ask, but Sugget's just asked in the comments. He said, do farmers get annoyed with people who grow their own at home, like us? We talk about it a lot, as it conflicts with farmers' profits. Like, we talk a lot about, like, just for instance, over Halloween, pumpkins. It's just how cheaply they're sold in supermarkets.
Yep.
We always comes up every single year around Halloween time on this show, is how do farmers make any money? And it's the same with any vegetables, really. Mm-hmm. We know what goes in for it to be grown at home, and it's, it can add up. Do you know what I mean? It's not expensive, but farming wise must cost a fortune, and then to put it into the supermarkets it comes to us really cheap. So how does that even work?
Yeah, first, I think it's a fantastic question, and the main answer I would say is that no, farmers don't get annoyed at all. I think everyone should be growing as much as they possibly can, and actually, the more that anyone can grow and getting to know about growing, the more that people will understand about food. And ultimately, this is what we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about food. So anyone who has an interest in food or growing food, brilliant. And please, just, if you're doing it, just keep on doing it. The question of bottom lines is always a big one, and I think that goes with stereotypes as well, in that some of the images of farming is the rich farmer, and it's a hard one, because again, you see there is massive diversity, and there are rich farmers. We got to say that they are there, but there are also a lot of farmers and a lot of farm workers who are really living in really difficult ways, and really struggling to make a living. Oddly, if you look abroad, say in Germany, say, it's actually more usual for farmers to have another living as well. So they'll farm and then they'll also have a day job. That's less, it's becoming more so in the UK, but it is tough. And the issue we have certainly with any like in gardening, I suppose. If you think of your basic inputs, what you're putting into the soil, you've still got costs. So and costs tend to be it's this weird thing. I do another podcast for someone on dairy, and we talk a lot about that at the moment. That prices are higher, so the price you're actually getting is higher, but then your costs are higher as well. So it's still being squeezed. And it is a constant battle. But I think farmers don't do it. You don't really, if you're farming for money, then you just go and do something else, because it's not an easy way to make to make money, but it's a great way of life. And I think that's why so many people, so many farmers just love what they do and are so determined. But going back to the question as well, and growing your own, I think, please, anyone listening, if you, and it's I think it works both ways as well, because I think farmers should try and engage more still. And I think certainly on Twitter, say, in farming Twitter which is great. Twitter is a really good way of connecting farming, but the conversation so often is, oh, we need to be talking to more people, we need to be engaging people in farming. Well, yeah, but actually, how do we do that? And until we're actually reaching out more with other groups or getting outside the farming bubble, that ain't going to happen. Which is why it's so important. But anyone with an interest in food is the way to start. And I think that's if you have an interest in food, then and just ask questions as well. I think that's one of the things. Open Farm Sunday in June is a brilliant way. If you go on the Leaf website, leaf.org.uk, linking environment and farming, there's a massive long list wherever you are in the country. I think it is just the UK. But you will find a farm local to you. Go and see it, ask questions, and just find out more, because ultimately it's just all about, we just need to all need to link together.
That's brilliant. Do you have any you can whisper it if you want, but do you have any like controversies in the farming industry, like drama?
I'm not sure I can say it. I'm not sure I can say it. I tell you what, Lee, and I don't know whether you get this, but as a podcaster, you get told a lot of stuff that you can't always say. It's why are you telling me this?
That's telling you on now. It's no good telling me a secret. It's coming out.
But no, but it's honestly like it is a massive privilege, I think, as well, just to get an insight into people's lives, and just to be let into people's lives. It's a lot of these people I'll probably only meet for half a day, an hour, couple of hours, but you really do build that connection with someone, and it's I find with some people they probably tell you more than they told their family, but always tell a stranger. It's always easier to speak to a stranger, maybe.
The tax man should, and this is a serious suggestion, if a tax man's watching, they should hire podcasters, because for some reason, I won't say that people have told me this sort of stuff, people are very open about what tax they pay. But following on from that, like people do, like we said earlier on, they love to share. And I suppose as a I was only joking about telling all the secrets. I keep that I'll get people to pay for those secrets.
I'll tell you later.
Sure. But people do, they want to share with you, and being a podcaster, they feel, especially after doing an interview, they feel open enough to connect with you like that. That must be quite interesting for you, for someone to be able to see even more behind the curtain of farming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've learned so much over those few years, because I think, again, in farming, normally when I've got that hat on, I'm mostly moving at a million miles an hour. I'm mostly by myself, and you do spend a lot of time by yourself, which is partly why I love doing this, because you're actually constantly then speaking to people and meeting new people and getting new experiences that aren't just on your farm. But yeah, lots of people just live like that, and it has. One thing that we have in farming become much better at in the last, I would say, couple of years, couple of years, is talking about mental health in farming as well. Big subject. Loneliness, isolation, depression, suicides. It's again, that's been about talking and connecting and just breaking stigma. So it's amazing. It's amazing how just communication can make such a difference, and just building community like this, I suppose.
What an amazing show it's been tonight. My name is Advert Lee, if you don't already know, and I'm here to say, hey, have you got a product you want Advert Lee to sell? Perhaps. I bet you do. Well, before you make your decision, let me show off my skills. Plants. It's a plastic one, but does that matter? He was slagging plastic plants off the other week. Plants. You like plants? Probably get some real ones, but plants. Yeah. If you want me to advertise your product, then please get in touch. lee@skinnyjeangardener.co.uk. Plants. Right, let's get back to this. Come on, Costa.
1,000 litres a year, and
I rewinded it a little bit.
At least $50 to boot.
Did you know that a leaking system can waste up to 16,000 litres of water a year?
I didn't, but you know what you should do? You should put a little bit of food colouring in the top and then come back about 30 minutes later, Costa, and then you'll be able to see in the bottom whether it's been leaking. But let's do your idea. What are you going to say?
Simple test. Get some food dye, put 6 drops in there, drop the lid back on, come back in 10 minutes. If there's any food dye down there, call a plumber and get it fixed.
At least he didn't put a brick in the bottom. I'll be 50 quid short.
With all of these simple measures, like utilising a water-efficient shower head, reducing showers to 4 minutes, and changing the aerator on their taps, we've saved the Gantus family $150, or 25% off their yearly water bill.
What are you going to do with the money? We're going to get a case of Volvic water. The one with a little bit of lemon in it. Oh, it's lovely and refreshing.
With all the water systems that have been put in place today at Norma's, she's well and truly on the way to saving 50,000 litres of water a year. Now, that's the equivalent of 133,000 glasses of water. Cheers.
But I want to go one step further.
He's not putting... He is. He must have... I reckon Costa's got a brand deal with these people.
This 3,500 litre slimline tank will be plumbed into both of the Gantus's toilets and will save them around 20,000 litres a year. To buy and install this tank would be about $3,500. But most states have rebate schemes that make this a much more attractive proposition.
Well, the plumbers are finished round the back here and they've done a fantastic job with their installation. The best part about the whole system is under the cover here, there's a water switch. Now, what that does is when the tank runs out of water, it automatically senses it and it switches over to mains water. So that means that the toilets can still flush even when the tank is empty. It's an idiot-proof system and it's going to provide Norma and the family with an incredible saving long into the future.
Absolutely idiot-proof.
Next week, we're saving water in Norma's front yard by building her a water-wise, beautiful native garden.
He should do our idea. I know this was 10 years ago, but we'll call him. He'll love this idea. Yeah. You put in your notes to me that your favourite sound recorder so far was a turkey gobbling at Paul Kelly's farm. Was it at his farm, was it?
Yeah, Paul Kelly just outside Chelmsford. Yeah, it was honestly it was episode 8, if anyone wants to listen to it. And it was just this guy you go into the shed and you just make the gobble noise, which I'm terrible at, but it's like that. And they just answer
Paul
back.
Kelly has it down to a T though, right?
He really does. It's epic. It is really good. Really good.
I love him. He's such a cat. I met him a
brilliant.
few times because we did some bits at Jimmy's farm way back when.
Okay.
And he's I've never known someone so energetic about turkey.
Yeah, I know. He really loves it. He's just you go into a room with him and it's just energy. It's just just like you can just tell. He's brilliant. Great guy.
If anyone is going away from this podcast and going to listen to one episode, what would be the first? Obviously, pop in to listen to the Paul Kelly one, but what would be the first go-to for you? Because we've got so few people in the comments. I'm sure we've got some people that's going to be listening to the main podcast.
Yeah, again, it's a bit of a cop-out question, a cop-out answer, because I think because they're all standalone. But a good way to start, I reckon. Oh, and I can't remember the exact number now. That's annoying. But it's round about 50, maybe 48, 50. I did a road trip up to North Wales, and it's around about that time. The Gareth Wyn-Jones episode, that's a good one to start with. Gareth's a great character, but yeah, they're all slightly different. So, but in the usual way, and I've done this with quite a lot of podcasts where you start right at the beginning. You can do that, but if you're anything like me, you then have to then listen to every single one afterwards, and life's too short, man. That's right. There's too many other great podcasts to listen to, so I wouldn't put anyone else through that. But dip in and out, or just start with the current episode. Start with the last one. Although Monday's episode was a bit different. Monday's episode was a bit serious because that was with like the CEO of the RSPB and FFs and Food and Farming Countryside Commission. So I've started doing some more sort of serious interviews as well. But it's mostly about, this is all about connecting people, but connecting people in like so it's sort of serious but not serious. It's like sort of it's a strange balance, and I think I'm still trying to work out what that balance is. It's quite hard to gauge, but it's I was always told that if you're going to make a podcast, then imagine you're down at the pub with some mates. Yeah, that's sort of general feel, and then sort of cater for who it is. But it's all about making people feel relaxed, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose, and also like you say, like touching on serious subjects, but I mean, sometimes I don't know if you find this, and this is me. Where's the positivity bell? It's over here, but we'll go negative. Sometimes on them real serious subjects, and you can listen to them, and they can be actually a bit boring. You sort of tail off. So I suppose as a podcaster, it's your job to keep that conversation. Like, don't get me wrong, people love their subject.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can go on. It's your job to get them. Come on.
Yes. Yeah, so true. And you can tell when it's like sort of, we need to take this on now, guys. No, I think my style is sort of, I like people to finish if they can, then because their ideas will be developing as they go, and not a lot. I mean, a lot of my guests have probably never done an interview before, so it's like a lot have, and a lot are very, and you can. It's always nice, dare I say it, when you've got someone who is proper sort of you're on it. You've done this before, because it makes our job much easier. Yeah. But at the same time, like you say, it's really important to sort of to get the best out of anyone. I suppose that's part of what your job is to really connect with them and just sort of see where things going. So it's like sort of because you sort of where it's going and move on. But everyone's worth listening to.
Mind you, I enjoyed a couple of weeks ago. I listened to Dan, I can't say the word regenerative
one. Yeah.
Why can't I say that word? I enjoyed that, man. I was jogging along listening to that. I thought it was pucker.
Dan's an interesting guy, actually. Yeah, and he's traveled around the world, and it's all those other things that you sort of because you sort of think I know the farming story, and I roughly know what you're doing in your business, but what else have you done? What did you do? What did you do? What kind of teenager were you like? All those other things. It's like it makes them a bit more human.
Yeah. I suppose. I mean, Dan, like you say, Dan did travel. I suppose you travelled and also did a lot of different farming things. Is that why you're also so interested in so many different areas of farming now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I think so. I think I've always been interested in anything that's a bit different, or anyone who's doing something that's a little bit different. And I think also coming back to our farm here, because I'd stepped out of farming for a long time, and dare I say, I didn't really have any interest at all when I was a teenager. Unlike a lot of young farmers will be just sort of boom, 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 I'm in it, and that's me done. So I had a lot to learn, and the best way to learn, I think, is to go out and see what other people are doing, and then just trial and error and try things out. I have tried some things out which have worked, and I've tried some things out that haven't worked, and I'm still learning big time. But it is, it's about going out and seeing something that's a bit different. And if you can give that a bit of publicity as well, and give them a shout out, and even getting customers if they sell direct, then that's just a great, it feels great.
Goats are really hard to catch, mate, aren't they? The only one you talk about.
Yes, they are. I hardly have any hair, and I put that down a lot to that goat farm that I worked on. They eat so much hair. They eat it.
I only know. I didn't know that. I noticed them when I was at a goat farm in Australia, and they made us try and catch goats. It was a nightmare.
Tell me about that.
I was traveling around, and we said, "Oh, we'll go for a week at a goat farm, right?"
Okay.
Goat farm, and they had us like trying to milk us goats are nutters. They do not want to. Well, nothing really wants to be milked, but goats definitely don't want to be milked. And I don't know how they do it over in the UK, but in Australia they were like lassoing these goats and crazy times, man. Like, anyway, I heard you say goats. So I thought I'd just tell my goat story.
That is epic. I wish there was footage of those times.
Probably got. I'll find a photo and send it to you tomorrow. My friend. Ben, whereabouts can people? We're going to talk about this podcast, and I'm going to highlight a few episodes over the next 3 weeks. But where can we find your podcast, dude?
So on Twitter or Instagram, I'm at MTF_podcast. But it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all the usual podcast places. And I've recently started putting up on YouTube as well. Which hardly anyone is looking on YouTube at the moment. So if you want to look on YouTube as well, just to see the video version as well, it's just search for Meet the Farmers Podcast on YouTube, and it's on there.
Awesome, dude. Nice one, man. Dude, thanks so much. Look, you're welcome to call in whenever you want, man.
Thank you so much.
I know you're busy at the moment, but if you fancy calling in, then
awesome.
we're always here. Dude, thank you,
and thank you for everything you do as well, because it's genius.
Cheers, mate. That always helps when people inflate my ego. Dude, thanks so much, man. I'll speak to you later.
Cheers, mate.
Bye, sir. Wow, man. What a week. I loved having Ben on. What a start to the week. I loved it. I hope you enjoyed that too. Like I say, Meet the Farmers are supporting the podcast. I'd really appreciate it. If you're listening, click the link. Go listen to one of the episodes. There's so many great episodes on there. Go listen. My favorite one, recent favorite one, I spoke about it in the interview, that one with Dan about the I'm not going to say it. Regenerative. Did I say it? Go check that one out. I think it's about from 2 weeks ago. But really great interviews. And like I say, I'm a little bit jealous of Ben Eagles. This is not how he speaks. Ben Eagles, fantastic. Almost like a DJ voice, but not from the 80s. Well, I'm from the 80s DJ voice, but he's from like, hey, Cabaret Extra DJ voice. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in to the podcast. We are growing this family. It's getting bigger and bigger, team. Bigger and bigger. 12, can you believe this, right? Around the world, 12,000 of you download this podcast every day to listen to me. I know. I can't. People around me won't even listen. The neighbours won't listen to me anymore. I'm just chatting all the time. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Look, if you fancy it, go give it a share. Thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a subscribe. Really appreciate it. Share. You know what I said. Share it to your mum. Advert Lee's done this already, and he share it to your mum. Share it to your dad. Share it to. I feel like I'm sounding more like Advert Lee every day. Lockdown, guys. We're almost there. We're almost there. Anyway, what a great week. Thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate all your support with the podcast. Tune in if you fancy it. We're actually live. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we are actually live. I don't pay Richard Suggett to come. I don't pay Ben. They are, I know many of you have said they're brilliant, but we're live. You can be part of the show, man. Come be part of it. Live Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. So I don't know why it works out. If you have to wake up at 1 a.m, then it just has to be done, doesn't it? It's all for the cause. All fun garden and chit chat. And I love it, man. I love it. You guys are keeping me rocking and rolling throughout this pandemic. So I appreciate you so much. Next week, we've got Alan and Mary on the show talking about well-being, which is probably well-timed for how I'm feeling at the moment. So tune in to that. But for now, look after yourself. Look after that garden. I ain't said this for a while. Look after the garden. But most of all, what is it? Look after. What is it? Look after yourself. Look after yourself. Here, look after yourself. Look after the family. But most of all, look after the garden. Doesn't sound right. Can someone tweet me what I used to say at the end of the podcast? Cheers. Much love. Look after yourself. Peace later. Facilia. Or Pacilia. You just read it off there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on.
Oh, I can't hear you, on. I've done something wrong with the thing. Anyway, elephant poo is what I got.
Good evening, Lee. How are you?
Great, mate. Your signal is always terrible, but I'm good, my friend. Excuse me. You got an allotment? When I go, don't put artificial grass on top of me, all right?
You got to get composted, Lee.
Yeah, hey, Advert Lee here. Enjoyed the show? Good. You can listen to the best of episodes on the podcast every Sunday. That's right. Lee uploads it every Sunday, the best of podcast. So get out of bed, grab yourself a cuppa and pop in the headphones. And you can listen to the best of the week. Or we have some absolute corkers. Go give it a listen. But from me, Advert Lee, and from Lee, see you next time. Bye-bye.
This is a Sunday Gardener. Jackson.
Who said that? Not me.